Get that refrigerator box and pack up all of our stuff because we're moving into a double wide!
Welcome to the most must-listen podcast on YouTube. Welcome to the glorious WP. My name is Nick Negropontis, and after a phenomenal Backlash pay-per-view and a full week of wrestling, Dempanopoulos, are you ready?
In the words of Daniel Bryan, yes, yes, yes.
That is horrible. You have one job to think of an intro, and you blew it. So we'll start this week in the only logical place to start it, and that is the Backlash pay-per-view. 3 new champions, and of course, the best part of it was The Miz retaining, in my opinion, but we got 3 new champions out of it. What did you make of them? I think they're pretty good champions, to be honest.
It was phenomenal, and the positive story, the good feel story of the pay-per-view was obviously, The Miz and Dolph Ziggler's start to the match.
Yep. Stealing the UFC CM Punk.
Yep, it was quite good. Also, Heath Slater and Rhino was alright.
My girl Becky achieving her live stream, that was also okay.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad, but I thought the real good story was the Usos. They're coming out, they're heels, they don't wear their paint anymore, and they're just dastardly heels. I really like the new gimmick, and obviously Slater and Rhino, AJ, we're all happy with all that, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we all saw AJ winning coming, so it wasn't too big a surprise. Becky was probably the favourite, even though neither of us really saw her winning this early. Slater and Rhino, that probably came as more of a surprise. But I guess you're right, in terms of the Usos, they really stole the show in terms of just adapting to this heel gimmick. And they did it so well. And they're not wearing their face paint, which makes it virtually impossible to tell them apart, but I can because I'm great.
Yeah, that's the number one thing on your CV, I heard.
Yep, I can tell the difference between Jimmy and Jay.
A lot of people aren't happy with the Usos. They always say they're bland, and even now they're saying they're bland, they're blah, 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 blah. I think they're great as heels. And as we said last week, if you watch Up, Up, Down, Down on YouTube, if you watch the backstage promos and all that, they've got charisma, they're funny guys, and this heel persona will just help that. Yeah,
I think moving on to the next thing, the biggest disappointment from Backlash was probably, obviously, Randy Orton not being cleared to wrestle. And the follow-on from that on SmackDown, I thought that was disappointing as well. So I'm not sure where this Bray and Orton feud is going right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening. I guess him costing Bray Wyatt the win against Kane, it should lead to something. You would have thought that if Bray Wyatt took out Randy Orton backstage at Backlash, that should be it. Bray Wyatt wins the match, he's taken out Randy Orton, he's on a roll, and he's a real sort of heel. Whereas now, with Randy Orton's coming in and RKOing him, it just leaves it in an awkward situation.
Yeah, and Eric Rowan returning out of nowhere makes no sense. But let's not bury the lead here. The story here is Randy Orton was legitimately injured by Brock Lesnar, and a month later is still not cleared to wrestle. That angle was not worth it. Not in any way, shape, or form.
No, and it's strange that Randy Orton has been on TV and has wrestled. Yeah. He wasn't cleared for Backlash. He was cleared the next night to perform at a live event.
I've heard that he didn't actually take any bumps at that live event.
Yeah, apparently Cena, it was all Cena and Randy Orton just stood to the side. But still, it's real strange considering at the time there was no signs of concussion or anything.
Yeah, and it was a severe beating that he copped, and I just don't think it was worth it. It doesn't give Lesnar much, to be honest. I feel like a clean win would have done the same thing for Brock. It gets people talking, but for only about a minute, because nobody will care about it in a month's time or the next time we see Brock. Nobody's going to mention it. It's just a waste, and really, it was the sour point of the Backlash pay-per-view, and otherwise would have been 2.5 hours of probably the best pay-per-view of the year.
And it's put Randy Orton Bray Wyatt's feud into a weird situation where we want to see Bray Wyatt win the feud and hopefully push him up to a main event feud, by WrestleMania time. But on the back of Randy Orton, he's still not cleared, but on the back of him losing like that, it just puts it all in an awkward situation. I mean, Bray Wyatt has to lose the feud now. Randy Orton can't lose 2 in a row.
Yeah, and it's weird that they brought it up as a leg injury, like Bray smashing his leg into the door. Then he comes out on SmackDown and he's fine, and he RKOs Eric Rowan, and he's got all the momentum. He's the one who's been injured, but Orton has all the momentum. I don't get that.